All right, everybody, it's time to write the introduction to your TDA. You should have your copy of the organizer split screen with this video. If you haven't done that, go ahead and do that now. Pause the video, get yourself set up so that you can write along with me using this Ed puzzle. All right, so the Watsons Go to Birmingham 1963 is the text that you're going to be writing an essay about. So we call this a text dependent analysis, or TDA. And you're going to be putting down your ideas in this organizer as we go through the essay. Today, we're just going to focus on the introduction, which is just one paragraph. We'll get into the body and conclusion later. Yesterday, you should have spent some time at Apex looking at the parts of an introduction, like what a good hook is, what a thesis sentence is. So we're going to practice that today using the Watsons Go to Birmingham. Yesterday, you also selected a theme that you think is the most important theme for this book. And if you forgot what the themes are, they are on the board. You can take a look at the board. They're up there. Family takes care of each other. Growing up can be difficult, and it's important to make good choices. You'll need to know which theme you're writing about when you get to the thesis part of the sentence. Okay, so have that in your mind as we move along. So the first part of any good introduction is the hook. The hook is the first sentence or sentences. It could be 2 or 3 sentences if you want it to be. It's the first sentence in your introduction, and your job is to try to hook the reader. You want to grab the reader's attention. And there's different ways to do this. You can just have a general statement that you think is an interesting statement. Make sure it's related to your topic, whether it's family, growing up, or making choices. You want to have it connected to that topic that the theme is that you chose yesterday. If you don't want to just make a general statement, you can ask a question, because when you ask a question of the reader, it's going to engage the reader. They're going to want to think of an answer. So that's a good way to start your paragraph. You could have a quote. Maybe you know of an inspirational quote, or you might want to even Google a quote that's related to family, growing up, or making good choices. You could start with a really interesting quote, or you could define a word. You could define family. You could define growing up, or choices if you wanted to do it that way. If I were you, I would either choose the question that you would ask the reader about your topic, or a quote that's related to your topic. That's where I would go. I think that's probably the safest way to start. I'll give you an example. So if you look at my hook, I chose a theme that's not one of your 3 choices. I chose a different theme as an example, and my theme is about courage. And I used a question to start my essay with a hook. My hook is a question. So I wrote, "Does showing courage come easy to you?" See, that's a question. And the reader is probably thinking, maybe, sometimes, sometimes not. And that's what a good hook does. It gets the reader thinking. And then I continued after the question. I put, "People have to find courage in their lives to help themselves and others. Sometimes it might be easy to show, but other times not." So that's my hook. And my hook happens to be 3 sentences long. It can be 1, 2, or 3 sentences. So I'm going to want you to think about how you want to hook your reader. Make sure it's related to your topic that you chose. And it can be a question, it can be a quote, or it can be a statement or a definition. So I'm going to pause this Ed puzzle. I want you to think what your hook is going to be, and go ahead and type it in your organizer. And then we'll move on to the second part of the introduction. All right, so you should have a hook related to your topic that's in your thesis. So the second part of the introduction is where you write a short summary of the book, okay? And short in your mind, it might be different from short in my mind. A short summary is at least 3 sentences long. This was a long book, and there's a lot that you can include in a summary, but you want to get just the main points, and 3 to 5 sentences will about do it for a full novel like this. So you want to make sure you introduce the book title, the author, the genre, It's historical fiction, by the way, and a short plot summary emphasizing the topic that you chose. So you want to summarize, if you chose family, you want to focus on maybe the family in your summary, or if you chose growing up, you want to focus on how characters grew up in this story. And the same thing with making choices, how characters had to make important choices in this story. So whatever your topic is, try to incorporate that into your summary. Here's a good summary. Now you can use pieces and parts of my summary. I don't want you to copy it, but it's a decent summary that if you want to use this to help you write your summary, that's fine with me, but just don't copy it word for word, okay? So remember, we have to include the book title, author, and genre, and notice how I do that. I'm going to put The Watsons Go to Birmingham, a historical fiction novel written by Christopher Paul Curtis. So there's the title, the genre, and the author. Is a story about an African American family living in the 1960s who want to live a normal life without having to deal with racial issues of the time period. That's a long sentence. It's okay. It has everything that you need: the title, the genre, and the author, and a little bit about the story. And then the second sentence I wrote, they travel to visit family in Birmingham, Alabama, and are faced with many difficulties and danger. And then the third sentence, I said, they handle their troubles together as a family and become stronger in the end. Although many of the characters show courage, Kenny has to work a little harder at it than the rest. Now, I mentioned courage here because my theme that I chose is about courage, but you might want to talk about family or growing up or choices if those were your themes. So I'm going to pause this video here, and I want you can use mine as an example, write your summary of the book, just like I did here with the title, genre, author, and then a short summary of what happened in the book, and include your topic somewhere in that summary, the topic that's in your theme that you chose. All right, now you should have your hook, your summary, and we only have one more sentence, okay? And this sentence is the most important sentence of your introduction. It's actually the most important sentence of your whole essay. It's called your thesis sentence, and it's always the last sentence of the introduction, okay? This is the sentence that shows what your opinion is about the theme. And remember, yesterday you picked your theme, so this is where you're going to use that theme that you chose in your introduction. And you can set yours up exactly the same way that I have mine. I put the most important theme in the book is that it's not always easy to show courage. Now, you're not going to put that it's not always easy to show courage because you picked one of the other themes. If you pick the family theme, you would say the most important theme in the book is family takes care of each other. If you pick the growing up theme, you're going to say the most important theme in the book is growing up can be difficult. And if you picked the making good choices theme, you're going to write the most important theme in the book is it's important to make good choices. So you can see how you just take your theme that you chose and add the most important theme in this book is before it, boom, you got your thesis. It's that easy. If you're having trouble, make sure you raise your hand. I can come by and help you. But once you have your thesis and you have your summary and you have your hook, you are done outlining the introduction to your TDA. Congratulations, you're on the way. We're going to pick up in the next video with how to write the body, including evidence and analysis. But that's for another day. You can go ahead and finish this Edpuzzle and let Miss Bullard know that you're finished. Good job.